Hi everyone, this is Julie from Totally Holistic Health and welcome to this week's yoga practice. As it's getting towards slightly warmer weather with the spring approaching, I thought it'd be nice just to do a little bit of a sun salutation. So we're going to break down the component parts of the sun salutation, but also do a bit of warming up first just to help release any muscles that we need to release to obviously create a sun salutation. So we're going to start off in a nice cross-legged position. So again, if you've got a nice blanket or if you actually do have yoga blocks, it's also quite nice to use that. And the benefit of having a blanket or something just underneath your bottom, it just rises or raises the bottom up a little bit. It just makes it easier to tilt the pelvis a little bit. So we're going to place our blanket, or if you have got a block, on your mat. And then we're going to come into a cross-legged position. Or into a comfortable position. It doesn't necessarily have to be cross legs. If you want to have your legs out in front of you, that's absolutely fine. Or if you can have the soles of the feet together, again, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't really matter. So we're going to just start off just by releasing the shoulders a little bit. So we're going to bring the hands out in front of us. And again, as we're doing that, just feel that lovely stretch on the back of the body. So really, really pushing the fingers away from us. Drawing the shoulders forward, stretching behind the back. Again, here you can just release the neck a little bit if it feels a little bit tight. Again, just doing what feels right for you at this moment. So we're going to interlock the fingers and then push the palms of the hand away. And again, just really pushing forward with the hands, pushing back with the shoulders. Again, just dropping the head between the arms, enjoying that lovely stretch in the shoulders. And then bringing the arms up. So if you've got issues with your shoulders, you might find having your knees should be bent. Having your arms bent might also help as well, just sort of to give you a little bit of movement in the shoulders. And obviously, if you can bring your arms up, that's fine. But if you do feel you're a bit restricted, that's absolutely fine. But again, just trying to bring the fingers back, just opening up the chest. Also, if this is too much and it's too hard for your shoulders, again, just having your arms into a nice wide cactus pose is absolutely fine as well. So again, trying to get the shoulders back, though, trying to open up the chest. So very gently, we're going to twist round to the right. Bring the left hand onto the right knee and then the right hand behind us, as close to the bottom as you can get it. Coming onto the fingertips, and just use the fingertips to give you a little bit of extra height. So rather than sort of like twisting around like that, you're trying to really create some height. Again, trying to imagine that lovely thread from the top of the head, really sort of pulling yourself around. Again, this is really more of a belly twist rather than sort of trying to crank the head round. So, if your neck is restricted, just keep it in line with the shoulders and with the spine. But if your neck is feeling okay, just very gently moving it round to look over your right shoulder. And then very gently coming back to centre, releasing the head first if it's gone over the shoulder, and then bringing the top half of the body back to centre. So if you have got your legs crossed, we're going to change the cross of the legs. So the leg that's in front, we're going to bring behind. If you've got your feet into Baddha Konasana, that's absolutely fine, just leave them as they are. So again, we're going to bring the arms out in front of us, interlocking the fingers. Pushing away, really enjoying that stretch on the back of the body. Keeping the breath nice and steady. And then coming up straight, and again, just bringing the arms above the head. So again, either bringing them into cactus arms, or bent arms with your arms above the head, or if you can, just really drawing nice and long. Again, we're trying to elongate the side body here as well, so don't worry too much if your shoulders are restricted though, it's not too much of an issue. So we're going to just very gently twist round to the left, and then bring the right hand onto the left knee, bring the left arm behind us. Again, coming onto the fingertips as close to the bottom as you can. Just use that just to draw yourself up. So again, really twisting that belly, really noticing that lovely twist in the shoulders. And again, the head can stay level if you want to, but if your neck is feeling okay, you can just turn your head very slowly just to look over that left shoulder. And then coming very gently, bringing the head first, and then bringing the whole body back to centre. Okay, so we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, if you haven't done already. So this is called Baddha Konasana, or cobbler's pose. So again, it doesn't really matter, everyone's body's dynamics are different, and also, you know, if you're doing this first thing in the morning, you might be a little bit stiffer, you might feel a little bit tight in the hips, so it doesn't really matter how close you bring your feet in towards your bottom. I mean, you can maybe bring it in this close if that suits you, or you can have it further away, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to look for that lovely stretch in the front of the thighs, or the inside of the thighs. So again, trying to have that lovely upright posture again, just trying to imagine that thread from the top of the head, drawing the shoulders down the back, nice open chest. Okay, so from here, we're going to see if we can come forward. So try not to crouch down, so we're not having what we're trying to not achieve. We don't want to have a nice curved back, because that really doesn't achieve anything. What we're trying to do is keep a nice long upright posture, keeping the chest open, and just see if we can come forward. So the idea is it's actually more of a stretch on the inside of the thighs rather than just bending the back over. So again, having a lovely upright posture, shoulders back, very gently leaning forward, bring the chest forward, keeping the head up. And again, just see if you can bring your hands on the floor, or you can bring them on the inside of the legs if that suits you. Again, it just doesn't matter how far down you go, just so that you can feel that lovely stretch on the inside of the thighs. Again, just use the breath, releasing down. And if you do feel you want to move the fingers further away, again, that's fine. But if you're feeling a little bit stiff and tight, then just stay where you are. It doesn't matter. You still get the same benefit, you're just not overstretching anything. And then walking the hands back. Fantastic. Wonderful. So we're going to switch on to the side. So trying to, again, if you've got a block or a bolster underneath, or a blanket underneath your bottom, it makes it a little bit easier, and it's a bit more comfy for the bottom as well. So we're going to come with our legs out in front of us. So again, it just makes it easier. Once you've raised your bottom up, if you come onto a flat mat, you tend to find most people tend to sit like this. They've got that really lovely concave belly, which is really not very good. The shoulders come forward, and that's really not what we're looking to achieve. So if you have something just to raise your bottom up a little bit, like a blanket, what it does, it just tilts the pelvis a little bit and just gives you more of an option or an ease to actually just tilt the pelvis, and then just create that lovely elongation in the spine. So again, we haven't quite got this sort of posture, it's more using the core, trying to imagine that lovely thread, keeping the legs really strong as well, so pushing the heels away. And then have a nice strong legs, nice right angle pose. So in staff pose. So again, staying like this and very gently opening up the legs a little bit, and just seeing if you can come forward a little bit. It might just be that you can come as far forward as this, or you might find that you just can't do that, but that's absolutely fine. But again, just trying to keep the chest nice and open. Use the breath. See if you can just come slightly further forward. Again, there should be a stretch on the back of the legs. Maybe on the back of the knees you might feel that, or in the buttocks. Again, if it hurts too much, again, just ease off a little bit. There's no necessity to hurt yourself. And everybody's body geometry is different, so it might just be that it's not going to happen today, which is fine. And then coming further forward, so bring the legs together. So keeping the legs nice and strong. I'm going to bring the fingers behind our back. So it suits my shoulders to have my fingers facing towards my bum, but you might find that it's better for you to have your fingers facing away. Your shoulders might feel different, that's all. So again, whichever way you want to bring your hands. So mine's facing towards my bum. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring the shoulder blades together. Really draw those shoulder blades so the chest is nice and open. So what here, we can just probably keep your head in line with your spine. If you do feel that you want to bring your head back, do so, but just be really mindful of the fact that your head is very, very heavy. So you might cause more damage to your neck if you've got issues with your neck. So try to maybe keep it in line with the spine. Enjoy that lovely sensation, just opening up the chest, opening up the whole of the front body. And then, you know, this is absolutely fine to stay here, but if you just want to increase that stretch a little bit more, what you can do is point your toes, just raise your bottom up into a nice reverse plank. But again, that's not a necessity. If you are in a plank, just make sure you bring the belly back to the spine. Strong in the arms, keeping the breath steady. And then very gently lowering down. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Just give yourself a nice big hug. Wonderful. So we're going to come back up. So if you have issues with your knees, you might want to use a blanket underneath your knees, or if you're fine and you just need a little bit of support on your knees, you can just fold your mat up. So you've got a little bit of extra padding there. Again, whichever way is comfortable for you. So we're going to come into all fours. So making sure that your fingers are nice and wide. So you've got your little fingertips pushing down in towards the floor. Nice and wide. Also your elbow creases face each other. Again, just helps stop overextending the knee and the elbows. So nice flat back. Really elongate the spine and the head nice and long. Again, just enjoy this posture for a few moments. I'm going to curl the toes under, push back with the arms, and then come into a nice downward dog. And again, from here you can just walk the feet out a little bit if that suits you. Again, the inside of the thighs might be a bit tight, so again this is really nice just to really stretch the whole back of the body. Walking the feet out, lowering the heel, bending one knee, and then the same on the other side. Wonderful. And then just pushing back, really enjoying that stretch in the shoulders. And with downward dog you can have your knees bent, so don't worry too much if it doesn't look like a perfect upside down V. It doesn't have to. It's just enjoying that stretch in the back body. And then we're going to just walk the hands back to join the feet. Just stay in a nice forward fold, just for a couple of breaths before coming up to standing. Wonderful. Now whilst we're in standing, it's nice just to maybe stand in Tadasana for a couple of moments, because it's really important to actually understand the relationship of the feet to the rest of the body. I do cover this quite a lot in my classes because I think it's really, really important, because as a therapist I get a lot of people who stand in certain ways with their feet, like they'll stand on the inside of their feet or the outside of their feet a little bit more, and it does make a huge difference to your knees and your hips. So it's really, really important to just understand sort of the importance of actually having that grounding with the feet. So we're just going to bring the feet to whichever comfortable position is yours. I mean, hip width is always quite good. Some yoga practices do require most of the feet together, but you know, everyone has different hips. Like, you know, if the hips are a bit wider, you might find that having it slightly further apart is absolutely better for you. So again, just having that little bit upright posture again, shoulders down the back, just noticing how you're feeling. Maybe close the eyes as well and just really feel that sensation of where you are in the body, how your feet feel on the floor. And just notice as your body gently rocks as it's trying to achieve that balance on the feet. Okay, wonderful. Trying to make sure that the hips are nice and level as well. So you can imagine your hips are like a bowl of water. So you can imagine sort of just rotate, just moving that hips from side to side or backwards and forwards, just trying to stop that water falling out of the bowl. So when you find that you've got a nice neutral spine, neutral pelvis, again that's really nice as well, not locking the knees, have the knees slightly just soft, just a softness in the knees, and then bringing the arms down by your side. And again, this is called mountain pose for good reasons, because you're really grounding down with your feet, so you're really feeling how that feels just to be so secure in this upright posture. Closing the eyes if that suits you. And also just noticing again how your body is automatically trying to adjust itself as well. So again, you know, the feet twitch, the knees twitch, the ankles twitch. Again, you know, it's really important to have that grounding down. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come to the front edge of the mat. So keeping that lovely stability in the feet. So just so you know where you are. Again, rocking backwards and forwards. Wonderful. So we're going to bring the hands into Anjali Mudra in the heart centre. So again, keeping that stability. Use the breath. So we're going to bring the arms above the head. So really gentle back bend. Again, you can have the arms nice and wide if your shoulders are restricted. But if you're feeling okay, maybe bending the knees a little bit just to protect that lower back. Come into a very gentle back bend. And very gently coming forward. Bending the knees very slightly again to protect the back into a nice forward fold. Now, if you have issues with blood pressure, I would probably take this really slowly, or just not drop the head below the waist. Just sort of keep it nice and level. So again, just dropping the head down, just enjoying that lovely stretch on the back body. Very gently, we're going to slide the hands up the shins, and then come into a nice flat back. And slowly coming back down, bringing the hands onto the floor. So we're going to step back first of all with the right leg into a nice lunge. So keeping the hands either side of that front foot. Now if you find that you feel as if you've got your arms are too short, what you can do is just bring both hands on the inside of that leg. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So keeping the stability in that back leg, pushing the back heel away, really strong in the legs. Going to come up into a nice high lunge, the hands into Anjali Mudra. Bring the hands back onto the floor. So we're going to bring that front foot to join the back foot into a plank. So pushing the heels away. So we're trying to really push away from the floor with our arms, really strong in the legs, bring the belly back to the spine. Now if you find this is a bit strong, you might just want to bring the knees down into a nice low plank. Again, it depends on how you're feeling at this particular moment. So trying to make sure that the elbows are really stuck into the side of the body. We're very gently going to lower ourselves down onto the floor. Wonderful. And then just rest here for a couple of breaths. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to bring the feet as wide as the mat, only just to help protect the back. We're going to go into a very gentle Sphinx pose or a gentle back bend. So the main thing with a back bend is try to make sure that the tops of the feet are pushed into the floor. So what that does, it just raises the knees off the floor a little bit. So I've got a bit of a gap now between under my knees. Also push the pubic bone into the floor. So we're going to bring the elbows level with the chest, keeping the head nice and straight. So pushing down with the feet, pushing down with the pubic bone, very gently pushing up. So there really shouldn't be too much pressure in the elbows or the arms. And if this is too much, then just dropping down a little bit, so it shouldn't hurt. And very gently lowering yourself back down, relaxing down into the mat. Curling your toes under, bringing the hands either side of that chest. We're going to come into a downward dog. And again, just adjusting the hands and the feet. Just walking out the hands and the feet. Wonderful. And then we're going to raise the right leg into the air. Bending the standing knee, and then hop the front foot forward into a nice lunge. And again, just enjoying that lovely sensation, hip flexor stretch on the left leg. And then hop the back foot, join the front foot into a nice forward fold. As we very gently slide up to standing. Bring the arms nice and wide. Very gentle back bend. And then back into Anjali Mudra. Okay, so again, getting your correction of your feet. And knowing where your feet are. And very gently coming to a very gentle back bend, bending the knees slightly. Coming down into a forward fold, bending the knees, hands on the floor. Sliding the hands up the shins into a nice flat back. Sliding the arms back down again. So we're going to bring the left foot forward now. So bring the weight into the right foot, bring the left foot back. And again into a nice lunge. And again pushing the back heel away. Really notice that strong back leg. Just in the feet so it's comfortable. So we're going to push down with that front foot, come up into a nice high lunge into Anjali Mudra. Bring the hands back down either side of the front foot, planting the hands strongly on the floor. Bring the front foot to join the back foot into a plank. Keeping the feet really strong, pushing the heels away, growing out to the ground, strong in the belly. If you want to, bring the knees back down to the floor. Very gently, we're going to just bend the elbows and lower ourselves down onto the floor. And again, just take a couple of moments to rest here. Bring the feet as wide as the matting in. So pushing the tops of the feet into the floor. So your knees come off the floor. Bring your elbows either side of your chest. Pushing the pubic bone into the floor. Feet into the floor, coming up into Sphinx pose. Again, find there's not much pressure on the arms or the hands or the elbows. Releasing back down again. Bring the hands either side of chest, curling the toes under, pushing back into a downward dog. And again, just enjoying that lovely stretch in the back body, walking the feet out. Okay, so we're going to bring the left leg up into the air. Bending the standing knee. Bring the weight into the hands and then bring the left foot between the hands. Into another nice lunge, enjoying that stretch on the hip flexor on the right leg. And then bringing the back leg to join the front into a nice forward fold. Sliding up to standing. Bringing the hands nice and wide. Very gentle back bend as you're coming into a nice Tadasana with feet nice and hip width apart and the hands into Anjali Mudra. So that's breaking down the sun salutation. I mean, a lot of people tend to do it really, really fast with a flow. It's like a vinyasa flow, so you're going to basically go into sort of a lunge, then into plank, upward dog, downward dog. So it can be quite a big flow, so it can obviously get the blood supply going to the body. It's really, really good for warming up the body, but it's also really nice just to break it down into its component parts as well, because you can actually sort of feel and understand it a little bit better. But obviously then if you want to have actually worked out where things are, you can actually speed it up a little bit as well. So if you want to go into more of a flow, obviously then that's absolutely fine. But hopefully that's broken down the sun salutation into a little bit more manageable chunks. So I will hopefully catch up with you next week. See you then. Take care. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me.